Hi, Torey Eisenman with Benchmark Real Estate Group, and today we're here with Steven Placey, who's the relationship guy.
Relationship guy.
Right?
Well, I don't know. We better clarify that now.
So, Steven, you're rolling out an amazing program on networking, and I've talked to so many people that they want to really get educated on how to network properly.
Yeah.
So, if somebody was to say to you, could you give me one or two tips? What's a couple things that you would talk to them about when it comes to networking?
Well, one thing we show them is we have built a list of over 35 or over 36,000 people, contacts, customers, things like that, and tons of social media connections and stuff throughout the year. So we've built these huge lists of contacts. But if I could give you a couple tips. It's not how many contacts you have. There's people that have those stacks of business cards all over their desk and in their drawer, but you can't pay your bills with those.
Of course.
So you got to be able to turn those into appointments and customers. And that's one thing we were really, really good at. And that's what the course we were talking about is really helping people do. Couple different tips for networking. Number one, if you're the most successful person in a group that you're going to, find another group.
That's a very good advice.
If you're going to that same group that it's just a bunch of downers and hey, whatever it is, people are people and that's the way it is, but it's just not going anywhere, it's not motivated, you only have so many hours in a day and so many minutes in a lifetime, go spend it with people you can learn from.
So I think sometimes people feel like they need to feel important. So they've been around a group of people and it's a comfort zone, right?
Absolutely.
But we're only as good as the people we surround ourselves with.
Yes.
So I recently went on a cruise with multi-million-dollar people, very strong business people. I didn't know anybody. So what do you say to somebody that's gonna go put themselves out there? Maybe they're not super extroverted.
Yeah.
And they want to be able to talk to people, but they're not comfortable. How do they break that ice?
Well, I think competence breeds confidence. So being secure in what you do and how you do it, and if you want to get secure in what you do to really confirm it to yourself, if it's your own head, that what you do is really good, talk to some of your customers. Get those case studies from them. Get those testimonials and let them tell you how wonderful you are. And that does a lot for your head.
Right.
You can hear the great things that you've done. And then let me show in the easiest way to talk to people about what you do. See, people don't care about the how. They care about the what. The how, like the systems that you use and all that stuff, don't care. The what is the end results. So you could simply take yourself almost out of the picture and introduce yourself and simply just tell them a case study or a testimonial of someone else you helped. That way you don't have to think about, what do I say? What do I do? How do I act? Act yourself, be yourself, and then just simply tell them about someone that you helped, and people really will connect with that.
But I think people get nervous, right? So you go into this room, there's 60 people, you don't know anybody. You want to be respectful and not try to be pushy. So how do you recommend somebody introduce themselves? Like, they don't know anybody. They're coming into this room. And I'm like, hey, I know what I do.
Well, yeah.
But how would you tell somebody to introduce themselves to the first person they meet out of a group they don't know anybody?
For one thing, if for the first things I do, and I probably did this when we met 15 years ago or so, who knows? It's been like this. I truly love people, right? And you have a vibrance about you. And one of the first things I might say, without being creepy, be like, you know what? I really think that I just love color. That dress is awesome.
It opens conversation.
It's not about you, it's about them.
People love being complimented.
They love being complimented without being creepy, You know what I'm saying? Don't be creepy about it. This isn't a singles, organization. This is, and I would say, and the person would say thank you. And then what's their next question is going to be like, well, who are you? It just instantly tears down that wall. Because you have to remember, these are people you're talking to.
Right.
Not companies, not targets, not prospects. They're people that have problems and dogs. They picked up dog poop. They might have changed diapers right before they came here. They have husbands and wives and families and kids. And so talk about that.
Right. We're all human, right?
We're all humans.
And I think when you do open up that conversation, even if you see a name badge and you can say, hey, your insurance, what can you tell me about that? Or whatever their respective business is, because people love talking about themselves, their children, and their pets.
That's right. It's not about you, and honestly, and I'll tell you one thing that I do, those events you go to where you have like 15 seconds to like introduce what you do. Now, what can you say in 15 seconds?
Right.
And I think one of the biggest mistakes everybody does is they just stand up and say, Steven Placey, business consultant, and they sit down. That really does nothing.
Right.
Right? And your goal when you go to a networking event is to be unforgettable.
So how do you do that?
So one thing I'll say, okay, I'll stand up and I'm a towering like 5'8", maybe, on good days, okay? I'll stand up and say, well, hi, I'm Steven Placey, I'm a male dancer. And I'll just sit back down. And people will laugh. And I'm okay with it. And I laugh too, and I'll stand up and say, actually, what I do is help people make themselves unforgettable and get more business. And it just proves my point.
Right.
Because people will remember that. And I'm going to tell you, it makes people laugh. It drops the room and people remember you. So you can be funny. Show your personality.
Right.
And then what can you say to make yourself unforgettable?
Well, and realize that probably half the room's nervous, right?
Oh.
A lot of those people don't know what to say to people. And there's nothing worse than going to a networking group and somebody trying to sell you something. Because it's about relationships, right? I said you're the relationship guy.
Yeah.
Because over the years, you not only get business cards, but you follow up with people and you genuinely care about people and want to get to know them. And I think in the society we're in today, we're so disconnected because of the internet and our cell phones that, how does somebody really, after an event, how do they follow up with those people that they don't feel like they're being pushy? Like how do they approach them?
So I'm going to give you a killer script right now. Here is something this is part of our course we have coming out, but I'm going to give you a script we use to follow up with a lot of people. And we use automated systems to do this, okay? This is a very deep conversation because there's people that do want your product right away. We follow up with them differently than we have people that you just kind of met.
Right.
So one of the scripts we use, it simply goes something like this. Hey, Torey, it was really great to meet you. And I always love learning about people and companies that have great products that could help my vast client list.
Which is great, right?
So
then I just became important.
You just became important. It ain't about me. And then I finish it up with, so I'd love to do a call with you so I can learn more about what you do and how I could maybe get you in front of my customers. What time in the next week, what day time in the next week works for you?
Right. So you just not only complimented them, but you added value by trying to help their business.
It's not about me.
Right.
And who's not going to respond to that by saying, okay, even if it's a 10-minute call, 5-minute call. Okay. So it's just, if you see what I'm talking about here, it's not about you. Networking's about making a connection, a relationship.
Right.
It's about connecting with people and learning about them and helping them. Because once you do that, remember that used to be called rapport building? Back before we had all these cool things, right? That used to be called. So you can do it simply that way. And then once people see that you care, they'll start talking about all the problems that they're having in their life.
But it's about being genuine, right? You can't do that.
Absolutely.
If you're not serious.
Oh yeah. Well, can't you all smell like a salesperson like 70 miles away? And it's like me, and let me just say, you'll also go to networking events where that salesperson, okay, and just don't be this person. And I'm going to tell you why. You'll go to that networking meeting and you ask them what they do, and they tell you everything that they do, and then they hand you a card or sometimes 3, right? Don't you love that, right? And because you're just automatically going to give them to everybody now. But then they just walk away.
Right.
And they never even ask who you are, what you do. And let me tell you why that's so stupid. I'll be honest. And it's a horrible missed opportunity. Because let's say you do that to Torey or me. Okay? How many contacts do you have? Roughly thousands, tens of thousands. So between us, we could have 100,000 people we know. Really. Okay? That's really not a far stretch.
No.
So let's say me and Torey are talking. You come, do your pitch to us. We're sitting here talking. You come up, do your pitch to us. And then you walk away. We are very giving people. I know Torey is as well. And we could introduce you. I know when I'm hearing people talk, I'm thinking about people I could probably introduce you to.
Right.
Right?
Always.
Always. And when you don't even ask what we do, you just miss out on a possibility of being introduced to 100,000 people.
Well, and it's not even the 100,000 from a business perspective of what you can do business with, What about those 100,000 that are really, truly great resources that you're going to be able to introduce to your customers?
No, it's multiple. It's exponential. I mean, it is. And so, that's why getting, even fairly good at networking.
Right.
And these things you just can't do and the things you can do, that's why it's so important, because it is a huge opportunity. Most small companies, it's one of the only marketing things that they do.
Right.
And so being really good at it is really a genesis of opportunity.
So I think one of the biggest challenges, even I face it, and I've seen other people, is you get busy, right?
Sure.
Life gets busy, and all of a sudden you've got a stack of 20 business cards over here.
20, hundreds, yeah.
Yeah, whatever
Right,
it is.
yeah.
I still have stacks. But you didn't call anybody. Now 3 weeks has gone by or a month has gone by, and you feel like, well, I can't call those people. They're not going to remember who I am.
Right.
What do you do?
You probably could. You still could. You can be you. And I always say this to people. I say, you be you because you is amazing. right? Because you is good, right? You could pick up that card and just say, you know what? First, I have to apologize to you. Because, Torey, I meant to call you a couple weeks ago. We met like 3 weeks ago, and I just want to apologize. I meant to get back to you sooner. And that immediately takes all that stuff away.
Right.
Great. So I was just calling because I did want to learn more about you. I really enjoyed meeting you and stuff. Don't be creepy with all that again, okay? I really enjoyed, but really I really enjoyed meeting you and learning about this. I wanted to see when we could set a time where I could learn more so I could introduce you to my people. And if you notice, again, what did I say? I didn't go into everything I did.
Right.
When can we meet so I can learn more so I can introduce you to my people? Because if you do that to people, what are they going to do?
And I think the more you get to know good quality people, the more you're a resource.
Yes.
Like I've had my customers call me and tell me I need to be in this hospital, or I need this kind of doctor, or I need this kind of lawyer. And because I've built those relationships, I can hand them cards of a couple people immediately, or I can get them in front of CEOs of businesses that they could never get in front of because they're new to the area. And I think that's real important. And I do want to touch on creepy because we're in the world of social media, right?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I was in a meeting about 6 years ago with a nonprofit, great quality people, with a very high level person literally came up to me and said, oh, I know you. You work out at this gym at this hour every day. Now, it freaked me out.
Well, yeah, sure.
So I ended up getting to know the person later, great quality person, but I was like, holy cow, is this person stalking me? They were of the opposite sex. I'm like, it made me nervous.
Yeah, whatever.
So no matter what you know about somebody, it's important to get to know them before you start talking about their lifestyle.
That's right. Let's... We still have to remain, you can be you, but if you's creepy, then don't be, don't do that. But, if you're creepy, you're not going to be in sales anyway, or you're not usually a business owner. Whatever. So, but it's just a matter of just treat people like people and understand they have feelings, they have lives, they have kids, what's the first thing I usually ask you about? Every time I talk to you on the phone or talk to you, I'm like, how are you doing? How's your back? How's Zach? She has and our sons are actually named the same thing. Same name. And that's just, I truly love people. That's not an act,
right.
And so if you're truly that way, then it's okay to be that way.
And if you don't like kids, maybe you like pets. See if they have a pet.
Right.
Maybe you boat. See if they have a boat. If you're not one that has similar interests, there's always something. It could be wine, it could be travel, it could be whiskey, it could be whatever, right? I do drink.
No, yeah, we can do that. So we may have had a few before we did it. No, but we're gonna have. I think we should do another set where we're drinking while we're and see where it goes.
We'll do wine tasting.
Right. So Scotch or whatever. I know you got some stuff.
I got some good stuff in there too.
Right. So But see, just have fun with people. Enjoy. Be a person. Be observant. Look at, okay, if they're wearing shorts and you see where they had socks on, it looks like the golfers that have the socks. Oh, do you golf? I've walked up to people that I've seen were standing a certain way because dancers and people that do ballet stand a certain way.
Right.
And I'll walk up and be like, I just saw, I didn't do it creepy. I was like, I see how you're holding your feet down there. Or do you dance or are you in ballet? And they'll be like so impressed.
Right.
But that you actually took a second to try to figure something out about them, and to notice something. They're so impressed by that.
Well, we're disconnected, right? We're in a disconnected society.
Social media has made us very unsocial.
So I think that...
The battery just died?
Is that what it was?
Let's go. Keep going.
So I think that if you, like, I can talk to anybody anywhere. That's just my personality. And about literally nothing of maybe what would be perceived value. But I think at the end of the day, you know, you get nervous about calling somebody because you got their card 3 weeks ago. You think they've never done that?
Oh, of course. They're people. They're people. Right?
So I think people respect genuine and honesty.
Yes.
And if you can, I don't care what people think. 20 years ago, it was different. I was all worried about how I presented myself, what I said. Right. Now I'm like, I'm just me. You know, and if we could always be like that, which is, it takes experience and life and wisdom to get that way.
Comfort, competence,